What's the number one thing that happens? One of the big ones is people are dizzy and have vertigo. That is a pressure system issue. Then you can also have things like headaches. Headaches and migraines can definitely be linked to pressures that have increased in the head. I'm Leigh Ankrum. I spent nearly 40 years with my hands on the human body, learning to treat the whole of a person, not just a part. This is where I share what the body has taught me. This is The Body Knows. Welcome back. Leigh Ankrum here, and today I'm going to talk about pressurization in the body, the pressure system of the body. I'm going to talk about why it's actually relevant, like the things that it does in the body. And I'm going to give you an idea of what you can do for some of it yourself. Maybe a practitioner can do. So, pressurized. Your body is pressurized. It's really interesting. And when you develop embryologically, it develops with suctioning pressurized parts of the body, like suctioning, creating these places in the body. So what it does is, it's interesting, is I'm pressurized from the top of my head to the middle of my head. It's pressurized in cavities, from the middle of my head to my collarbones, from my collarbones to my respiratory diaphragm, and from my respiratory diaphragm to my pelvis. So these are the pressurized systems parts, and all of them are in relationship to each other, and the pressures are working together. So I'm going to tell you what it is that happens when these pressures change or something happens. What's the number one thing that happens? One of the big ones is people are dizzy and have vertigo. That is a pressure system issue. Then you can also have things like headaches. Headaches and migraines can definitely be linked to pressures that have increased in the head, maybe because they've changed in the other pressure parts of the body. You can have shoulder pain, and what it can be coming from is because the respiratory diaphragm actually got tighter, created more pressure in the thoracic cavity, and created like pain patterns, but it comes out in muscle pain. But one of the other big parts of us that's pressurized is the abdominal cavity. And we need pressure in our small intestines and in our large intestines, the pressure that's in the cavity, to actually move everything through these organs. So when my pressure becomes less inside there, say it becomes greater in my thoracic and less in my abdominal, then what can happen is I don't have great pressure to help the movement of the waste product of the product going through my intestines here. And let me also say, one of the biggest places that we are pressurized is also in the kidneys. So our kidneys are massively pressurized. The ureters coming down from them and the bladder, your bladder, are all pressurized. When somebody comes into me and they have things like glaucoma or they have ringing in their ear, these are all pressure issues, and oftentimes I'm looking at the respiratory diaphragm and the kidney for those. So when somebody comes in and says this to me, my head starts thinking, I become the detective. I want to know which part of the pressure system is having too much pressure, which is not having enough pressure, or is it coming out of the kidneys, which is so common because those kidneys hold pressure. Your kidneys, 60% of your blood goes through your kidneys every minute. So when you have tension or dehydration, which is more common than you realize, it comes out in symptoms. And this dehydration or tension in the kidneys can come out in ringing in the ear, vertigo, like I said. You can have macular degeneration, the pressure that's going on in behind the eyes. So you can get these pressures because you can get these pressure type symptoms because the pressures are off in your body. I'm so grateful in my education to have learned about the pressure system, because I had never heard about it until I went to osteopathic school. So what can you personally do about your own pressure stuff? Well, first of all, you want to hydrate in a way that the hydration actually absorbs. You don't want to get dehydrated. That's number one. Number two is that you really want to work on breathing and breathing deeply so that you are balancing the pressures that are happening in the different cavities through your breath. I mean, not big kind of breath, but that slow, sustained inhales that expand everything, slow exhales that also does that. I really would recommend those kinds of things in order to help the pressures balance, keeping the pelvic floor really, with walking or some kind of mobilization so the pelvic floor also doesn't stay overpressurized, which we have a tendency to do. So if now you want me to tell you what a practitioner should do. And so a practitioner, once again, it would be lovely to have practitioners who do visceral manipulation, who do organ manipulation, because that is very big in helping to get rid of pressures and tensions in organs that are increasing pressures in the body. That's number one. But if you aren't, then you can hear this repetitive thing through these videos, is that the respiratory diaphragm plays this massive role. It plays a massive role. I always say, if there's only one thing I could work in the body, one thing, you only give me one thing that I could work, it would be the respiratory diaphragm, because it's in relationship to so many systems, which we could do another video on, about all the systems and how they're in relationship to the respiratory diaphragm. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found it valuable, please subscribe to the show and share it with someone with whom you think it might benefit. Until next time, keep learning.